It's been a while since I made a combos and neutral guide, so as I add another one onto the series, why not R.O.B? In this video, I'm going to cover everything about R.O.B, from combos, setups, to useful tricks you can pull off. And at around the 10-minute mark, 8BitMan, one of the best R.O.B players, will be here to share his insight with us on R.O.B's strengths and weaknesses in the neutral game. So combos first. Let's start off with neutral air follow-ups. If you land a fast fall neutral air at very low percents, you can link a dash attack into up tilt, then an up air. You may need to do a perfect pivot up tilt if they DI away the dash attack. From low to mid percents against heavyweights, you can link a jump cancelled up smash. As for fast fallers, light and medium weights, go for an up air. It's even possible to link another up air against fast fallers, depending on which way they go. Though if your opponent preemptively DIs the neutral air at mid percents, it's safer to just go for a forward air. Besides a stronger frontal hitbox of R.O.B's neutral air, he's also got a weaker one at the end. Though it's only possible to land this hit if you short hop without fast falling, or fast fall at the right time from high up. Either way, if you manage to get it at low to mid percents, you can combo straight into up tilts, then up air. Again, perfect pivot up tilt may be necessary depending on their position after the nair. The best part about this weak hitbox is that it can easily combo into an up air from mid to high percents, which can of course kill. For these follow-ups to land more consistently, it's ideal if you are moving forwards with a neutral air. However, a retreating neutral air is not without its uses, as it can combo into a forward air at low to mid percents. Against fast fallers between about 0 to 10%, you can even go for a dash grab, up throw into up airs. Although rather situational, if you land a very close-up neutral air while moving forwards, it's possible to footstool into a down air at low percents. The footstool to down air spike combo is guaranteed against these characters, but not these characters, as they can DI away. This information will be useful for another footstool combo I'll be talking about later in the video. Okay, so let's next get into R.O.B's throw combos, which is undoubtedly one of the best in the game. At 0% against fast fallers, you can up throw into 2 up airs. Alternatively, from 0 to low percent, you can go for a jump cancel up smash on all the weight classes. Any percent higher, go for a down throw into an up air. Though after a certain range, it'll become a 50-50 mix-up, where they can either air dodge or jump, and you have to either stall your up air or up air immediately. We mentioned a bit of up tilt before, but what exactly can it combo into? Well, at these percentages, just an up air. Against fast fallers, if you catch them on the side at about 0 to 10%, you can grab them into an up throw, then up air. For the other weights, you can link more up tilts before the up air. Down tilt is another great move, as it comes out fast and has a fairly high chance of tripping the opponent. Against heavy, light, and fast fallers at these percents, you can only link another down tilt. At mid to high percents against all the weight classes, a dash attack will work. Past about the 100% range, there's a chance the untechable spin animation will happen, in which case an up smash is guaranteed. Here's a very useful trick R.O.B can do called instant gyro cancel, which allows him to cancel his dash quickly into a down tilt. It was discovered by King Chaos in the Smashboards thread. To do it, your gyro can't be out. Dash in the direction you want, then hit down special. Then instantly slide your thumb to the A button while still holding down. Then immediately hit shield. Here's a sequence in half speed, and now in full speed. Alternatively, if you have your C stick set to tilt, you can use that instead of the A button, if that's easier for you. This technique works with any of R.O.B's tilts, and even a down smash. If mastered, I think it can really benefit R.O.B's neutral game. Next, we have forward air. This move can be a good spacing tool, as it comes out fast and has decent range. A forward air at around these percentages will force the opponent into this crouch animation for about a second. Taking advantage of this, if you land a closed short hop forward air against heavies at around this percent range, you can fast fall into 2 down tilts. The fast fall after the forward air is very important for these follow-ups to be guaranteed. Preferably, you want to fast fall diagonally in order to maintain forward momentum. Against medium weights, it can combo into jabs. Against fast fallers and lightweights, a down tilt, then a dash attack. Make sure to land the down tilt before they touch the ground, so they have no opportunity to tech. Percents a bit higher, you can down throw into an up air against heavyweights. Against medium weights, same thing, except you can squeeze in a down tilt in there before the grab. Against light, just a dash attack. Any higher, only a forward air will connect against heavy and medium weights. Heads up though, don't go for this setup against very short characters, since the forward air will just completely miss them. Generally, you probably won't land a close-up forward air in the neutral, but this can be practical if you're punishing a move out of shield. A close fast fall forward air also has a number of follow-ups. At low percents against medium weights and fast fallers, go for a down tilt. Against light, go for jabs. From low to mid percents, you can follow up with a dash grab, then down throw into up air. This can work until fairly high percents against heavyweights, especially with a large hurt box. Any percents higher, go for a forward air against heavy, medium, and light weights, and a dash attack against fast fallers. Similar to neutral air, if you land a fast fall forward air near the edge, from about 0 to 20%, you can combo into a down air spike. Again, this particular setup is situational. As for the last move with combo potential, we have a close dash attack. At low percents, it can lead into a perfect pivot up tilt into up air. Against fast fallers, it may be safer to just go for a forward tilt, since you have to be very close for the up tilt to connect. From about 20 to 40% against heavies, go for a forward air, fast fall, then up tilt into up air. Percents any higher against all weight classes, go for a forward air. Well, that's all the basic follow-ups I'll be covering. Now for the more interesting stuff. First off, the gyro. In my opinion, one of the best projectiles in the game, as you'll soon see why. Let's start off with the most optimal follow-up from a gyro throw, a 0 to death combo, which was discovered by a YouTuber called Teitoku. The combo must be initiated by Z-dropping or down throwing the gyro. Besides getting a super hard read, a practical way of setting this up is by Z-dropping the gyro out of shield, preferably a power shield. Release the gyro at the climax of your short hop, then footstool immediately after the gyro hits. Here's the tricky part. You need to re-grab the gyro with down air and also time it such that you hit them with the tip. If done correctly, they will be locked. Now simply repeat the process. Once you reach near the ledge, throw the gyro, footstool, then spike. If you miss re-grabbing the gyro, don't worry, because there's still enough time for you to pick it up and continue. Just a reminder that the footstool to down air spike combo is only guaranteed against these characters, but not these characters, as I mentioned earlier. So for the non-guaranteed characters, skip the footstool at the ledge and go straight for the down air. Also, down air can't lock anymore, after about 50%. Although that's a very strong combo, it's quite situational. So let's talk about more practical gyro follow-ups. If you jump cancel toss the gyro forwards at close range, you can follow up with a grab at low to mid percents, and a forward air at high percents. A down throw gyro at low percents can combo into a forward air, then grab, and at higher percents a smash attack. If you ever catch your opponent above with a forward throw gyro, instantly toss it again by re-grabbing the gyro with shield, then immediately hit C-stick forward, and finally a forward air. At around the mid percent range, a drop or a thrown gyro will start launching the opponent at a very low trajectory. This of course can help you set up for a down tilt lock if you think they'll miss their tech. As you probably know, it's impossible to throw out an aerial while having an item in hand, but if you Z-drop drop gyro then immediately throw out an aerial to snatch it, you can basically create the same effect. This is very useful since it'll let us link an aerial directly into a gyro. A pretty strong combo that works at low percents is Z-drop gyro, neutral air, run up and Z-drop gyro again into another neutral air, and finally gyro toss, instant gyro toss into forward air. Thanks to the lingering active hitbox after a gyro is released, R.O.B can cover almost every get-up option at the ledge. As a reminder, the gyro launches the opponent in the direction you were facing when you released it. So what you want to do is turn around before throwing the gyro at the ledge, then reposition yourself in front of the gyro and be ready for the follow-up. If they decide to roll past the gyro, you can catch them as well. The gyro overall is a very good tool for pressuring. Simply releasing it on the ground before making your approach can help you cover options, and increase the likelihood of catching your opponent if they aren't careful. As for the last useful trick with R.O.B I want to mention, before we get into the interview with 8BitMan, is his ability to B-reverse and wave bounce. If you need a refresher on how to perform it, you can check out my tutorial over here. Doing it with his down special can create some really awesome fake outs. You can make it so it appears you're approaching but suddenly retreat with a B-reverse gyro. Better yet, if you hold the shield button beforehand, then perform a B-reverse or wave bounce, you can instantly cancel the gyro charge, then throw out any move you want. For example, you can jump backwards out of shield making it look like you're retreating, and while still holding the shield button, wave bounce forwards, then forward air. This trick can also be useful for recovering to the ground safely by throwing your opponent off guard with a sudden momentum shift. With that said, it's time for our interview with 8BitMan. Welcome 8BitMan, and thanks for being here to share some of your knowledge with me and the viewers.
Thank you for having me.
So the first question I have is, what is a good way to play R.O.B in the neutral? Is he best when played aggressively, defensively, or a mix of the two?
I'd probably say he's best played defensively. He doesn't really have much of a safe approach game. Like, none of his moves are safe on shield. He's not really like a super aggro character. His main approach is kind of like breaking one's defenses with gyro and laser. So the way he gets in is basically just mixing up his camp game through like gyro and laser timings, changing the timings of when you shoot or when you hold on to something. It's kind of like his best thing in neutral.
Alright, the next question I have is, what are some effective ways to approach with R.O.B?
If he has to land, Nair is usually his best option because it's just a large, disjointed hitbox that covers in front of him and below him. But in general, essentially just like waiting a lot of the time because he is a box out and a camp character and just punishing, like bait and punish sort of game, because none of his aerials are safe on shield, like I said before. If you do fair on shield, falling up air, falling Nair, like a power shield or just a regular shield can usually punish it.
How about a space fair? Would that be useful?
Probably retreating fair and retreating Nair. Like, retreating Nair is super safe. Like, you can't grab it, but some characters do have out of shield punishes that can get it, like Sheik short hop fair.
Alright, so the next question is, how should R.O.B recover back on stage?
This is one where it depends on the matchup. If the character is really, really good at catching his landings or a juggle character, he usually tends to recover low just because he needs to be able to get grounded first. But it also depends on the stage as well. Like, let's say it's FD, you're not going to recover high because you don't have a platform to retreat to. But if it's on like Battlefield, Town and City, or Smashville, you do have the platform to sort of retreat to. But yeah, it depends on the matchup whether or not he recovers high or low, because he does have the option to choose both, because his up B can go so high.
I noticed you also use up B on and off to mix it up.
He can actually do it 6 times. So like if you do up B into aerial, he can do that 6 times before running out of gas. So you can kind of stall it a lot.
How about his back air? I know it gives a bit of forward momentum. Should it be used at all?
That's used usually really when you're in like the bubble and you're super far away from the opponent. You just use that to get back quicker so that you don't have to keep using gas. It's really good when you're trying to recover from a distance. However, if someone is standing on ledge waiting for you, I have lost many stocks and many games to, let's say, Sheik immediately watching you back air and then bouncing fishing you for it. So you are just completely susceptible to getting edge guarded if you throw that out, which is why a lot of ROBs will opt to recover high with it or just throw out a fair instead of back air because it has much less cooldown.
Okay, cool. Well, my next question is, what are some of R.O.B's strengths and weaknesses?
Basically, his largest weakness, besides being so large and lanky, is not being able to land safely, because he hardcore loses to juggle characters such as like Cloud or Rosa, people that can just keep throwing out really safe aerials that he can't land into. But his greatest strength is basically being able to push someone's disadvantage state, because you can constantly tech chase and cover landings with gyro and laser. And even in neutral, what I'll do a lot is you'll see me just shoot gyro into someone's shield and immediately shoot another gyro because it can spawn the first frame it disappears. So you just keep doing that, and then you can even poke someone's shield by like shooting gyro at the top of their shield when they've already eaten 3 or 4 gyros, or laser, etc. He's really good at like covering someone's defensive habits, like let's say someone's rolling from ledge or trying to air dodge to stage. He's really good at baiting and punishing or just straight up frame trapping people with gyro.
Interesting. So what's a good counter pick stage for R.O.B?
This one, I don't really have much of a definite answer for. R.O.B is good depending on the matchup. He could like Battlefield in one matchup and then hate it the next, just because of like option coverage and platform pressure and stuff like that. So I would say in general, his best stage is either Battlefield or Town and City. But again, that depends on the matchup. But I did want to say one thing, since I don't have a true answer for this, is that a lot of people have like this misconception that FD is one of R.O.B's best stages, if not his best. And I actually hardcore disagree with that. I think people get that misconception from Brawl. He was able to land and he was much more mobile in Brawl. In this game, his air mobility is trash. It's much worse than any other character. And he has a much harder time landing on FD than any other stage just because there's no platform.
Is there a stronger platform stage? Moving platforms like Town and City or stationary platforms like Battlefield?
Yeah. If they don't kill off the top, like if that's not their primary kill option, Town and City is generally the best. But if they do kill off the top, like Rosa, Bayo, Zero Suit, then Battlefield is much, much better for me, or for Rob.
Okay, so the next question is, what is Rob's strongest matchup? And what's his worst matchup?
His strong matchups include large bodies, so DDD, Bowser, DK. In general, he, in my opinion, is the best box out character besides, I guess, Duck Hunt. And he is really, really good at just not getting hit against really slow characters. I think he does really, really well against Wario, characters like Kirby, or characters that have a hard time getting in and are really stubby characters that are really small. The only bad part of small characters is that Gyro does go right over their head. His hardest matchups, the obvious one, which most Rob mains will tell you, is Zero Suit Samus, just because Rob does benefit from Rage, and Zero Suit kills you at 50% if she wants to, because he's so lanky, he is super susceptible to the combos and dies really, really early. Other than that, I would say Cloud, Bayo, and Rosa are his next hardest matchups just because none of them let him land or just kill him generally really early.
Okay, that makes sense. What would you say is the best control scheme for Rob, in your opinion? Do you think there's an optimal scheme, or does it depend on the player's playstyle?
There's been a lot of experimenting with the control schemes for Rob. I personally have only ever used default, but players like Mr. Eric and Rafi have tested out different control schemes. Most of them use tilt stick, because out of up throw and out of like nair and stuff, you can do like perfect pivot up tilts, and in neutral you can do perfect pivot down tilts, which is really good for spacing and zoning. The biggest thing for Rob is taking off tap jump, just because you can up B, and then after you get hit out of it or try to recover and stall your recovery, you still have your double jump, which helps a lot. In general, besides tilt stick, kind of the mandatory one you want to use for Rob is no tap jump.
As for the last question, what do you think of Rob as a character in the current metagame?
I believe he is one of the best, if not the best, counterpick characters in the game, because he's up there, in my opinion, with characters like DK and Bowser, whereas he is a grappler in some aspects because he does have the poop, down throw up air, and he does have a lot of kill potential. However, he loses hardcore to most of the DLC characters and basically the meta. He, in my opinion, is anywhere from mid to high tier. I don't think he'll ever be higher than that unless he receives movement buffs or cooldown reductions in some of his moves, because a lot of his moves just are not safe enough to necessarily merit him a scary character in neutral. Especially if you are really good at power shielding and you know the matchup, Rob is not a scary character. Like there's a reason why he's really good in certain regions and terrible in others, because if people know the matchup, the character will never thrive. Whereas if you throw a really good Rob at a region that has never seen one, he will probably win the tournament. So like I see him as like probably the best mid-tier character, if not like the worst high-tier character.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your insight with the viewers today.
Thank you. This was awesome. This was really fun.
8BitMan does have Twitter, so everyone, please give him a follow. Well guys, that's all for today's video. As always, I hope you found it helpful. Thank you Patreoners for your support, Sylvian Bay, Ethan Stevenson, Brooke Miad, Austin Lau, and many others. With that said, I'll catch you all in the next video.